Well, good morning. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. Today, we're going to talk about Joe Biden and this crazy gaffe with LL Cool J, where Biden refers to LL Cool J as a boy. Now, I don't know exactly what was in Joe Biden's mind when he said these things, but I'm going to give you an honest Dr. Boyce breakdown, and I'm also going to explain to you that this is part of the reason why the Joe Bidens of the world will never get an invitation to the All Black National Convention. So let me know. Give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me. Let's do a quick sound check. Give me a yes. Everybody type yes in the chat if you can hear me. Hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what city you're from, and we're going to get started on drboycetv.com right now.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm, great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.
Everybody, welcome to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I hope you guys are doing well. Shout out the city you're from. Let me know what city you're from. And also, it looks like you can't hear me, right? So I always have to check my audio. Isaac Brown, Jim Neitz, Yoshika, I see you in there, girl, from Houma, Louisiana. Anna from Brooklyn in the house. Love Brooklyn. I can't wait to go back there. Charles Holman from Trenton, New Jersey. Helen from Wilmington, Delaware. Let's see, Isaac Brown's out of Trenton, New Jersey. Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. And also, just a reminder, this podcast is on Spotify and it's on Apple. Anywhere you get podcasts, you can find me. Just look up Boyce Watkins or the Dr. Boyce Breakdown. You will find me there if you want to listen via audio. And I see you, Sharice from Washington, D.C., who is on. I think she's flirting with me. She put the little hearts in the thing. That makes me feel good. Thank you so much, ma'am. I am saved for my wife, but I love you too, and I appreciate you very, very much. Okay, guys, so let's get started. Let's jump right into this. Gwendolyn out of Houston, Texas. What is your PhD in, by the way? I see she says Gwendolyn Phillips D. Ashborough, PhD. That's a lady who is so proud of her name. God bless you, sister, and congratulations on your doctorate. Actually, the Black Doctoral Network is going to be hosting their event in Atlanta the same time we host our All Black National Convention. So if you are into that kind of thing, if you're into smart black people and you like that kind of thing, this is the year. We're making Black history because this is the first time in history that I know of where you had this many highly educated, highly intelligent black people gathering together just to focus on solving our problems, just to focus on our people. So allblacknationalconvention.com. It's going to be October 20th. It's the biggest event of the year for us. And so I hope you guys will come on out. All right. So let's jump in. How many of you, give me a yes or no. How many of you heard about Joe Biden referring to LL Cool J as a boy? Did anybody catch that? Where Biden gets up on stage, and it was kind of sad. You know, the poor guy. He's it's become Weekend at Bernie's at this point. The poor guy, Fran out of London. I see you in there. Shout out to Black London. I love y'all too. Yeah. So he's up on the stage and he's introducing LL, and he accidentally uses the word boy, which we know is an absolute no. When you're talking about a black man, LL ain't no boy. I don't know LL, never met him. I know Russell Simmons. I worked with Russell Simmons on quite a bit. But I did talk to LL one time. Russell asked me to talk to him because LL was running into some sort of racial controversy, and we talked. He and I talked for maybe 5 minutes. He was very nice, and what I respected about LL was that the way that he did what I told him he should do. Like, he had a controversy. It doesn't matter what it was. It was way back. And I said, here's how I think you can handle it. And I think this will help you get through whatever. And we literally just talked for a couple minutes. And literally I saw him on the show and they asked him that hard question about the controversy. And I was super impressed because he said exactly what I told him to say. And I said, see, if you listen to intelligent black people more, we would have so much more success. So he's intelligent enough to know intelligent black people when he talks to them. Same thing with Ice Cube. There were things I would say to Ice Cube, okay, talk about, listen, bring this up. And he did it. He did it very well. And I was super impressed. Same thing with Charlamagne. Charlamagne interviewed Joe Biden. We texted a few times before the interview. I said, ask him about this. This will probably trip him up. And he did. And Joe Biden literally blew a gasket. That poor man didn't know what to do. So I'm telling y'all, when intelligent black people are in the room, these politicians freak out. When smart Black people get together and we strategize and we represent in the appropriate way, they don't know how to handle that. They're used to the entertainers not being very smart. They're used to people sort of being in their pocket. They're used to Negroes being bought and paid for. But when you show up as a full human being, give me a yes if you understand what I'm saying. If you show up as a person that's unapologetic, that represents your people and has the right ideas, then they're going to have a hard time with that. Well, why is that? Well, because most of the problems in the Black community are easily solvable. They're not hard to solve. The problems are pretty easy to identify, pretty easy to solve. The problem is that the people who are in charge don't want to solve the problems. They don't want to solve the problems. And this gets to this whole Biden thing. And really, I had to spin the Congressional Black Caucus into this, not because I dislike them. I spoke at the CBC conference maybe once or twice. Very nice people were there. I had no problem with who I met there. But the problem that they have is that they are pretty much owned, bought, and paid for by the Democratic Party. And I'm not saying that you can't be a Democrat. Now, I want to make this clear, too, because I don't like to people use propaganda and misinformation and try to create confusion whenever there are good ideas being thrown on the table. So I want to make it clear. And I need y'all to give me a yes if you understand this point. I'm not telling you that you can't be a Democrat. I am not telling you you can't be a Republican. I'm not telling you you can't be something else. Or do we agree? Do we agree that in this space, you have this thing that most people don't want you to have, which is freedom of choice. You also have this other thing that people despise called freedom of speech. We don't just talk about it like my daughter used to say, we don't just talk about it, we be about it. So I do believe you have the right to believe what you want to believe. You ain't got to agree with me for us to have a conversation. We ain't got to be in the same political party for us to be friends. You ain't got to see the world the same way I do for us to be able to find a common ground. Do you understand that? I think this is really important because you have a society that encourages you to cut off your allies. You have a society that tells you that Black person ain't nothing because he voted for Trump, or that Black person over there, he a coon because he's supporting Biden. No, I'm not telling you any of that. I'll tell you what I'm doing. It's like investing. I don't give you guys investing advice. But I tell you, hey, I like this stock. I'm going to buy this stock. If you want to get it too, then feel free to take a look, but you don't have to do it. So I really think it's important to understand that, because when we get in these conversations, which are important conversations, people start lying and stuff. They just start lying. They say, Dr. Boyce told Black people to vote for Trump. I ain't never said such a thing. Because if I told y'all to vote for Trump, that means I'd vote for Trump. I ain't never voted for the damn man. And I know for a fact that when they tell you that, when they say things like that, that is their desperate attempt to keep you into their control. That's literally the biggest form of pimping that there is. So let's get back to Joe Biden and LL Cool J. Did y'all see that? Did anybody else see that? So Joe Biden gets on stage and he's talking about LL. He's about to introduce him, and he slips out and he says something about the word boy, or he uses the word boy. Obviously, that's a no-no. That's a problem. That's not going to make anybody comfortable. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why I believe that these words came out of Biden's mouth. First off, I think Biden is about 112 years old now. And this man is so old, he ain't got no business being in the White House. Do you understand how stressful that job is? First off, I wouldn't have wanted that job when I was 35. Hey, look, that man, it's weekend at Bernie's at this point. They are dragging this poor old man, him and Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's up here having strokes on stage, poor guy, because they're dragging them around. Well, why is that? Well, because they have a brand name. They can't win elections with another name. Also, the older people, unfortunately, they get in positions of power. They don't want to let that power go because they want to remain relevant. And so effectively, it would be better if you had, maybe one of his children that ran. But unfortunately, Joe's only son that's left over is the one that's on crack. So you can't exactly have a crackhead in the White House. And he had another son that actually could have been a president, but, unfortunately, he died, right? So Biden, actually, I have a lot of empathy for his family because his family's gone through a lot. If you read his history, I read everybody's bio all the way back to when they were children. When I try to understand people, I say, who raised you? What mattered to you before you got into politics? What was important to you before it became all about the money and the corporations and everything else? And one thing about Biden is that if you read his history, this man has gone through it. I mean, I'm talking about I think his wife and one or two of his children was killed in a car crash. His other son died of brain cancer. His other son's on crack. I mean, that's a tough life. This man got the life of a Black woman, right? He got more heartbreak in his life than a Black woman does. And so in that regard, I have space for empathy for him because I don't think he needs to be in that job. They're forcing him to do this job. he should be retired. He should be able to sit at an old folks home and try to remember what day of the week it is. Instead, they got this man running around representing the nation and doing whatever. And I don't think it's good for us. Maybe if you like him as president, it's not good for him. All right. So with Biden being the age that he is, it's not impossible that this was the way he talked as a teenager. I mean, do you understand the history of this man? I mean, just how things have changed so much since he was a kid. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you guys a picture. Hit that thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. And as I pull this picture up, I want to remind everybody, if you want to get a discount on our financial workbooks for children, they're extremely good. You can go to boycewatkins.com and just look for it. Just get there and it'll say Dr. Boyce Daily Deals, and you'll see the workbooks for kids. So if you have kids and you want them to be financially intelligent, or your grandkids, it makes a great gift. It took us 3 years to put them together. We designed them specifically for Black children. So hopefully you guys will find them interesting. If y'all don't find them interesting, nobody else is going to buy them because we made them just for y'all. So anyway, look at this picture. Does anybody know? Give me a name in the chat. Now, those of you who are on Instagram, you won't see it, but I'm about to tell you who's in this picture in a minute. And those of you listening on Spotify and Apple, you'll know in a minute. Who is that guy in that picture with Joe Biden? This is about 30 years old or more. Who is that guy that is in that picture? Can anybody tell me the name of the person that Joe Biden is cuddled up next to, like he is his long lost lover? Like who is that guy that he's got his head on his shoulder? He once referred to him as his mentor. He said that he's his very good friend. Does anybody know who this person is? Who is that? Put the name in the chat. Yes, it is Mr. Strom Thurmond. Mr. Strom Thurmond. And one of the criticisms of Biden that he's received for many, many years is that he was very, very, very close with politicians that were known to really have an issue with Black people. And it's not just and it wasn't one of those things where he would say, yeah, we were friends, but I knew nothing about, his personal beliefs or whatever. It's like Biden also had that really questionable racial history, if you recall, during the early 90s, during the war on drugs, where he pretty much talked about inner city kids without a father, like they were damn near like rodents, like they needed to be exterminated, like they needed to be. He literally said things like eliminate them from society, things like that, right? So these ideas of fear, that tends to drive that. I mean, it's been in existence for a very long time. This is who he really was for a very long time. And what I really encourage you to sort of reconsider is this idea that somehow he magically changed. Somehow he became a different person. I know that's what you want to believe because it may justify whatever you chose to do in the last election. But I'm sorry, I was pro-Black 30 years ago. I'm still pro-Black today. If you read articles I wrote when I was 25 years old, all you're going to find is another version of Boyce Watkins who's thinner, who has more hair, who's saying the same stuff. He's just not saying it as articulately as I can say it because I have 30 years of education on that guy. I got my PhD 5 years after that, and then I went on and had another 20 years of being a scholar, thinker, writer, whatever I am. But still, the idea is the core of who I was at 25. It's the core of who I am at 52, right? And so with Biden, that word boy was probably something. He probably used words worse than boy, I imagine, at some point, because there was a time where it was not a big deal to do that. Now, here's the other part. This is the part where I'm going to sound like I am like a schizophrenic or I have multiple personalities or almost hypocritical or something. Is I'm going to go ahead and say this. I think that those who are deeply offended by what he said, I'm going to say that I think you're focused on the wrong thing. I really do. I think that if Biden is your guy, then him using that word should not change him from being your guy after that. Right? If Biden wasn't your guy, then this shouldn't be additional reinforcement for why he's not your guy. Because here's the thing. We've been tricked on racism. We've been tricked on racism. We misidentify racism. We constantly are convicted of mistaken identity when it comes to racism because we don't understand what real racism really looks like and what's really driving the inequality in our society. Real racism is not based on what Joe Biden thinks about LL Cool J. Real racism is not driven by the white person who called you a nasty name in the grocery store. Real racism is not driven by the neighbors who look at you funny because you're driving a Mercedes and they don't have one yet. Racism If you read from Dr. Claude Anderson's books, Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth, and the Black History Reader, all available at his website, powernomics.com, real racism is systematic. Real racism, Biden calling LL Cool J a boy doesn't matter to me because LL knows he's not a boy. So if you know you're not a boy, somebody could call me a boy. I would not care. I've been a man for a real long time. You can't convince me that I'm a boy. You thinking that I'm a boy does not make me into a boy. Well, your opinion, like Deion Sanders said, and God bless him for this, he said, your opinion of me does not match the opinion that I have of myself. So you don't understand. I need to help you understand how little I care about your opinion of me. So this idea that we get so caught up and offended by what white folks think about us is yet another form of white supremacy, because when you are giving that much weight and that much elevation, that much credibility and that much sensitivity to the words of another person, you don't understand that you are inherently glorifying that human being. You are telling them that you are relevant. You are giving them relevance. You are granting them preference in your life. You're putting aside everything in your life that's important so you can focus on the white man who just called you a boy. So I think LL Cool J, in my view, is probably enough of a man I only met him once. I only talked to him a few minutes. I get it, but he's had a great career. He's been very consistent. I like that he's a professional. LL is probably not bothered by any of this, and I don't think he should be. I really don't. If he's going to be outraged, LL should be outraged over things other than what Joe Biden thinks about him. If you're going to get outraged over how many millions of black men got sent to prison when Joe Biden started building penitentiaries and passing laws to incarcerate as many black people as possible. If you're going to get outraged over the fact that LL could go back to his hometown. I don't know if he's from Queens, Brooklyn. If I got it wrong, forgive me. I think it's Queens, but y'all got to correct me because I know New Yorkers take that stuff seriously, and I love my people in New York. I get mad support every time I go out there, so I don't want to get it wrong. But, LL, if he really wants to get outraged, go back to your home borough. And I want you to sort of look at all the big, tall, $100 million, billion-dollar buildings in Queens. Thank you, Alton. And I want you to ask yourself, how many of those buildings are owned by black people? Like, do we own any of these buildings? Or they all owned by white people and maybe people from other countries? That should offend you because last I checked, we built this damn country. We built the damn thing and ain't got no credit for building hardly nothing. We built the thing and all we got was jobs and student loans. Right? No ownership, no property, no businesses, no control, no strength, no power, no nothing. We just got jobs where we can keep on building stuff that's going to make other people rich. That would offend me if I was LL Cool J. If you want to be offended, I want you to go to every district run by your favorite politician, Democrat or Republican, and I want you to ask yourself, if these communities are predominantly black, are the children safe in those neighborhoods? Or is it like Chicago, where I go to black neighborhoods and somehow little babies are getting shot every day? But when I go to the white neighborhoods, ain't no babies getting shot. I go to the black neighborhoods. I tried to ride my bike. One time, let me tell y'all a secret. I don't tell people where I live. I only tell people where I live years after I've moved away. So, because I have to do that for security reasons, because you got crazy people out here, right? So I used to live in Chicago, in a part of Chicago where I didn't even know I was moving in this neighborhood. I just got lucky. I lived less than 2 blocks from Barack Obama and 2 blocks from Minister Louis Farrakhan. Now, in that time, I never once went to go visit Obama. You couldn't even get on the street. He had security blocking the street. But I went to see Minister Farrakhan several times because in my mind, Minister Farrakhan is far more important than Barack Obama. No disrespect if you like Barack, but Farrakhan's my guy. I talked to him many times, never went to see Barack. One day, I got on a bike and I decided to ride to deep South Side Chicago, right? So that's when you're going up the streets, 50th Street, 60th, 70th, 80th. And I'm going on this bike ride because I'm trying to lose weight. I was fat and everything. I'm trying to lose weight, right? So I'm riding this bike. And as I got further south, the streets started getting clunkier and clunkier. There was glass on the sidewalk. I couldn't hardly ride them. I said, man, by the time I get home, I'm gonna have some flat tires. Now, when I ride on the white side of town in Chicago, the roads are smooth. The birds are chirping. Everything feels good. It's nice and pretty. I'm going further south. I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get home because apparently they're not even taking care of this side of town. I need to understand why that is. And then I can talk about education and why the majority of black children in Chicago schools, Philadelphia schools, New York schools, St. Louis schools cannot read and write at grade level. And these schools are being run by Democrats. That's what would offend me. I don't care. Biden calls me a boy. I don't even care. What you think about me does not determine what I think about myself. So what you say does not matter to me. It's what you do that actually matters. I need to understand why whenever you have a problem, you seem to solve it if it's an important problem to you. But when I got a problem, you don't solve it. But when you got a problem that you can't get elected, you come to me first. You come to me first, like I'm your political booty call, that you come to me first. And pause. I got to say pause. My friend Dame Dash says pause. But so I ain't trying to be nobody's booty call. This ain't Atlanta now. I love y'all in Atlanta, but still, y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so I'm not, but still, seriously though, with Biden, I don't really care what he says about me. It's like what you do that matters, man. Like I need to understand why I had to read the other day that they gave $120 billion to Ukraine, right? How many of y'all couldn't even find Ukraine on the map before 2 years ago? Like 2 years ago, most of y'all probably couldn't even find Ukraine on the map. Right now, $120 billion to Ukraine, and then Chicago's like, "Oh, we're writing a $40 million check to take care of all these people from out of the country." But the black people show up, they're like, "Oh, we ain't got no money, y'all. We can't. Our budget. Sorry, I ain't got it, bro. I ain't got it." But when you're trying to run for those damn elections, you always up in our church. You're always talking to our rappers. You're always trying to run around and act like you buddy with us. Kamala Harris taking pictures, holding collard greens and doing hip hop shows in her backyard. Just silly stuff, crazy stuff. And I don't know why people fall for that. Whatever. I'm not judging you, but I'm just trying to get you to think about this a little bit. This is highly inappropriate behavior. Highly inappropriate. And so I'm into solving problems, man. I don't want to have the next 50 years look like the last 50 years because the last 50 years made me want to vomit. I don't want the future to look like the past because the past was not comfortable for us. I don't want our children and grandchildren to be complaining about the same things that we're complaining about today. If that is the case, if in the year 2075, Black people are watching this video and saying, dang, they were going through this in 2023, we're going through the same thing now. Well, you know what that means? That means you have failed. That means I have failed. That means we have failed. We have failed in this generation if our grandchildren are complaining about the same things that we're complaining about today. Give me a yes if you can hear what I'm saying. You ain't got to agree. I just want you to think about it. We have failed epically if our grandchildren are going through the same nonsense that we're going through because we did not have the courage to change our behavior. This is your fault. This is my fault. This is our fault. I'm not even putting this on Biden. He could call me boy. I don't care what he calls me. What that man says about me has nothing to do with who I am at the core. So but at the end of the day, it's on us. So this is deeper than just Biden calling LL a boy. Who cares? Who cares? LL ain't no boy. He a big ass dude. He licks his lips and stuff because I guess the girls like all the muscles and everything, and he still looks like he's 25. God bless him for that. But LL ain't no damn boy, and he knows this. And I don't understand why that's the focal point. Maybe that's why problems don't get solved because we focus on the symbolism instead of the substance. Now, do me a favor. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. I have a new book out. It's called The 10 Commandments of Black. You are welcome to go to drboycebooks.com and take a look at the book. Also, as you guys know, in the Black Business School, we have 156,000 students in the Black Business School right now. Most of you attend for almost nothing. So if you'd like to get your financial literacy journey moving, feel free to go to theblackbusinessschool.com, or you can also go to drboycebooks.com. I have other books like Financial Lovemaking. My wife and I do a lot of work that involves the psychology of money. So if you go to drboycebooks.com, look up the word Alicia. You'll also find my wife's books. She's done a really good job of sharing knowledge based on it. She's a full professor of social work and a licensed therapist, and she sees clients constantly every day, clients from the NFL and stuff like that. And so she's extremely good at helping us get through the nonsense that will help us succeed. So if you want to take a look at some of her stuff, just go to drboycebooks.com. And also, I'd be remiss not to mention that we have less than 3 weeks for the All Black National Convention. Just in case you want to know, we will never, ever, 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 never invite Joe Biden to the All Black National Convention because we don't do that. That's one thing that we specifically created to distinguish our convention from The NAACP, the Urban League, and the CBC. No disrespect to them. They can do what they do. The problem, though, is that the Congressional Black Caucus will never, ever, ever, never, never, no, never be able to turn down an invitation or from Joe Biden. So Joe Biden or any Democrat or at a high level will always be able to come to the CBC, get on stage and call somebody a boy, and they're going to be forgiven. Why? Well, because, again, as a finance professor, I can tell you that the economics drives everything. You have to be beholden to the people who write the checks. We're not beholden to people like that. We don't take money from people like that. We don't want government money. The Democratic Party could write us a check for $1 trillion and we would not take it. Now, we are definitely working hard to get the money. It makes things much more difficult. We have to cut corners. We gotta look at the budget and be really careful. So your support is extremely important, right? So for those of you that bought a ticket to the convention, those of you that are vendors or sponsors, we appreciate you, because freedom ain't free. One thing I can tell you about capitalism is that freedom is not free. You cannot beg for money and still be free at the same time. It does not work. It makes you no different from a teenager who's getting his bills paid by his parents, but still walk around talking about I'm a man or I'm a grown woman. You're not a grown woman if your parents are paying for your car note. You're not a grown woman if you're living in your daddy's bedroom, or you're not a grown man if you are still eating food in your parents' house. So in order for you to be a full adult and to be completely free, you have to be able to pay your own bills. So we've achieved that. We pay our own bills and we make this thing happen. We've been doing this for almost a decade now. And if anybody who goes to that convention, ask them what their experience was like, they will tell you it was one of the most magical experiences of their life. I guarantee it. It is magical. It's very positive. There's no judgment about whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or not. We don't care as long as you're Black first. We don't care if you're gay or straight, as long as you're Black first. We don't care if you're a feminist or not, as long as you're Black first. Married, single, Black first. Young or old, Black first. Rich or poor, Black first. Educated, uneducated, Black first. But you have to want to solve problems. So this is what we do. We have a lot of fun. So feel free to go to allblacknationalconvention.com if you'd like to join us. Again, as I said, Joe Biden will not be invited ever to our convention. Okay, guys. So anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. I got a meeting in a couple of minutes. I just want to come in and talk about this topic really quick and give you a perspective on it. I hope this discussion was helpful. I am not the definitive expert on all these things political. I just have a perspective that hopefully will help us solve problems. I'm a mathematician by nature, which means that in mathematics, you can't just complain about a problem and think you solved it. You can't just stare at the problem and think you solved it. You can't ignore a problem and think you solved it. You actually have to confront the problem, sit down, process it, and solve the damn thing. That's the only way you'll get credit. So the question that I ask you today to ponder as you walk away from this discussion is, who is solving problems in our community? Who is solving problems? Who's actually getting things done? Who's developing the infrastructure? Who's building the schools? Who's creating the jobs? Who's solving problems in the Black community? If we focus on that one question, that will give us far more progress than simply wondering why Joe Biden called LL a boy. I do not care about that. He's forgiven for that. But what he can't be forgiven for is incarcerating my daddy and thousands of other daddies all across the country and all this, and doing all the things they did to the community. That's something that I think we probably shouldn't ever let go of, because that's impacted you to this day. Drugs, incarceration, all that has destroyed families. It's probably taken $10 trillion worth of wealth out of the Black community. And it's something that I think we have to address in order for us to move forward. All right, guys. So do me a favor, please hit that thumbs up button, thumbs up, share, subscribe on your way out. We do have a social media platform. We're getting away from Facebook and Instagram because I'm not trying to get deplatformed every single month. Because when you talk about pro-Black stuff or you talk like this, I don't know why my rhetoric is considered dangerous. I'm not out here hurting nobody. But then again, though, this is how the game of power is played. So instead of complaining about it, we solve the problem. We have a platform called Blag Enough, BLAGGENUF, blagenough.com, BLAGGENUF. It's on the screen, and you can join, but you have to answer a questionnaire because we don't want just anybody in there. We want people that are into peace, prosperity, productivity, and power for the community. We do not want people in there fighting. We do not want people in there acting a fool. We do not want nonsense. We want people who value intelligence and progress. So if that is you, if you are B1 in that way, feel free to go to blagenough.com. There's about 60,000 of you on there right now. When we get to about 100,000, we'll probably stop. And so if you want to join, feel free to go to blagenough.com and take a look. And also, if you're interested in investing, you guys know that's what I do. That's my thing. So feel free to text the word stock to 31996. I'll send you our $5 a day investing plan that's very popular. I'll send you another popular training we have called How to Make Money Without Working. I'll send you a list of AI stocks that we like. And also there was something else we put together. There's a list of side hustles hustles. I'll send you a list of side hustles we made in the Black Business School to help you make some extra money. All right, guys. So what's up, Black Wall Street Challenge? I hope everybody will follow this brother's page because he's doing excellent work in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. And I haven't forgotten you, man, because I love those who are grinding away. He's very consistent. And so look up Black Wall Street Challenge on Instagram. This brother's really doing extraordinary stuff. These are the types of people that are going to make our community strong. These are my superheroes, not people on TV. So hit the thumbs up button. God bless you. Thank you so much for listening. I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Have a great day. Peace.
Here we are, clan the isms, cataclysm great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in this state. Everybody out here doing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the power, never be fake. Stick to cosign for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same and buy back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, now we on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here on Dr. Boyce TV. Here we are.